right, welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies might have inspired it. But today on the show, we're not doing that. We're looking back at some more older movies, old as in 2025. We're following up our top 10 films of 2025 episode with a special bonus that Jason Harris from Awesome Movier and I cooked up, where we are going to look back at 10 more movies that either I didn't end up doing episodes on or we didn't get a chance to spotlight in some way. Things that we talked about on our monthly trailer episodes, but then didn't see at the time they were released and finally got around to them and wanted to put a little spotlight on them now. So 10 more movies from 2025 that we are going to shine a light on. Although I will say, I realized after we recorded this, and I went through my list with a fine-tooth comb to figure out what movies I wanted to spotlight. I'm an idiot. I did do an episode on Baby Invasion, and I just completely forgot about it. So I'll be bringing up Baby Invasion here, but you could also go check out the episode I did with Joe Black. But anyway, that's coming up here in a second. 10 great movies for us to talk about from 2025. As always, I got to remind you before we get started, make sure you're subscribed because we got a lot of episodes on the way. And you could also go back and find the episodes like Baby Invasion, but lots on the way as well. And if you get subscribed, you'll find out about all the episodes as they come out. And with that said, let's talk about a bunch of movies we didn't get a chance to talk about in 2025 and Baby Invasion. Jason Harris is back with us. We have our top 10 list episode that we do with Josh Bell, but Jason and I wanted to take another look back at 2025 and talk about some movies that we brought up during our monthly trailer episodes, but at the time, hadn't actually gotten a chance to watch and wanted to go back and talk about them because there's some movies that we thought really stood out for the year.
I think a few of these will definitely end up on the top 10s or the honorable mentions. But yeah, I mean, there's so many times this year where it was like, nope, didn't see that. So
Yeah.
we went back, we looked at everything that we did talk about. And these are ones we've seen after the time where we could have referenced seeing them. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and I will say for the listener a little bit of inside baseball. Jason had pitched this to me specifically as things we mentioned on the trailers episode, but then we hadn't seen when we said, "Oh, did we see this? Did we see this?" And for me personally, my brain is too full. I can't remember what we mentioned on those trailers episodes. So I kind of looked at it as I went back through my letterbox list by David Rosen, by the way, and looked at movies that I watched this year, really liked for one reason or another, and then didn't end up doing a Piecing It Together episode on. So my list is a little different from how Jason kind of prepared his list, but either way, we got 5 movies each we're going to spotlight.
All right. Now that I know, I guess I'll do the episode.
Go for it, Jason. What do you got first?
I mean, I think the first one that I want to talk about is a big spectacle and really kind of delivered that Hollywood box office popcorn summer movie feel. Maybe my favorite movie of the summer I'd say this and Superman were the two. I want to go to F1. I hate F1 as an organization and what they do in Las Vegas. They come in and they ransack this place and they don't give a fuck about anybody. And
oh yeah,
I lost 5 weeks of work because of F1 one year. People, to me, the most selfish thing is at the overpasses on the strip where you can see through a chain link fence. They put up like black curtains so you can't even see if you're walking. Like it's like, hey, look at how selfish and fucked we are. But I'm not talking about what pieces of shit they are and how our city is decimating itself. I'm talking about the film F1 with Brad Pitt, your boy Joseph Kosinski,
Sure.
Another blockbuster heavy hitter. Brad Pitt is just charming as always as this kind of broken down driver, kind of that Paul Newman slapshot character, except now he's getting one more chance in the big leagues. Javier Bardem as the owner is just like eating every scene in the best possible way, right? I think we have like that Ben Mendelsohn, like kind of villain who's there, but kind of not there. And the racing looks so incredible. Kosinski might be the best action director in the game right now. So F1 is my first pick.
Yeah, and I haven't seen this. The reason why is because I of course, Kaczynski and Brad Pitt and Javier Bardem, like I wanted to see it for them. But first of all, I didn't care about racing. But then also, I missed it in IMAX, and it was already gone like 3 weeks later or something. And then I looked at the show times. I was like, do I want to go watch this movie in a regular screening? And I was like, it's just not going to be the same. This is a movie like built for IMAX.
It definitely would have been better. I saw it on a big screen in Long Beach, so mine was okay, but IMAX would have been the way to go. The biggest issue, and I'm going to spoil it for you,
That's
right,
fine.
is he's this guy, he just chases the next race wherever it is, right? And he goes and, he eventually, him and the young kid on the team, like they work it out and he wins. And now he's like the superstar driver. And they're like, oh, you can come back and be part owner. And 3 million a year or whatever it is, right? And then he's like, then the next scene you see he's like disregarded all of that to go race like in some dune buggy in the Baja Peninsula, like for
Mm.
no money. And it's like, no, that is not acceptable. You're a 55-year-old man. Act like an adult at this point in time. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Get out of
Yeah.
here with that crap.
Yeah. Oh man, he's a maverick, basically, is what it is.
No,
But
that's Top Gun.
oh yeah, sure, okay, all
But
right.
F1's really, from the blockbuster. This past year, the blockbusters, Superman and F1. I don't know if there was anything above that for me as far as like traditional IP, or summer blockbuster stuff.
I hope it was better than Superman because I was not that into Superman, but
What superhero movie did you like this past year?
really none of them. I thought Fantastic Four was okay, but like that's about it.
Fantastic Four is garbage.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't care that you didn't like Superman, but I just thought, and Thunderbolts is lame. So
it was
to me,
okay.
Superman was the best of the bunch.
They're all okay. That's what they are. Anyway, I'll go on to my first pick, which technically is still new enough that I could do an episode, but I just know it's not going to happen with all the end of the year craziness and trying to get our top 10 lists and all that stuff done. The Testament of Anne Lee, which is directed by Mona Fastfold, I believe, directorial debut. I'm not sure about that. Written by her and Brady Corbett from The
Corbet.
Brutalist. And yeah, Corbet, yeah. And starring Amanda Seyfried, who is just
Seyfried.
amazing in this. And feels like a movie musical mixed with Midsommar and The Witch and Mother, like all rolled into one. And it's something just absolutely just crazy, and that's something that I feel like I've been missing this year, is a movie that's just totally over the top, just wild. It's also a movie that, even though it's obsessively about religious wackos, basically, it really makes you like empathize with them in this like weird way. Like you're just like, these people are nuts, but at the same time, I kind of want them to get what it is that they are going for, which is, in this case, this woman who brought the Shaker movement to the United States, and all this like celibacy and like this like weird integrated society that she was trying to build, but everything was against it in early American culture. And yeah, it's a weird movie. It's very musical. The music is fantastic in it, and again, like the central performance by Amanda Seyfried. Seyfried, how do I say it?
Seyfried.
Seyfried, Amanda Seyfried. On Lee, is that her name? Testament of On Lee. Anyway, she's
I just have
fantastic.
it as Anne Lee, but I'm excited. I'm pumped for it. I think Amanda Seyfried might get the Oscar nod on this one, and that would be great because, like, you know, has she ever really gotten her due of
No,
how good she is? Right?
no,
Like,
yeah,
like you said, Mona and Brady are partners both romantically and as producers, so they have similar ideas. So once we saw the Brutalist last year, we knew this was like kind of that next, thing for them. So all those things sound really interesting. I do want a crazy movie, but I mean, was something like Weapons not a crazy movie for you this year?
there were elements of it that were pretty crazy, but this is over the top.
All
So
right. I
yeah,
mean, the other thing is for me, as someone who studied history in school, I never got the Shakers, man. Like,
Yeah.
you can't have a movement if you're not allowed to have kids because your movement's going to die out once everyone dies out. So
Like that
I
doesn't
never
make
really
any
understood
sense.
that. Yeah, that one
Yeah.
really got me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
But
I like
that
that pick. I'm excited to see this. So.
yeah, that's some crazy shit. But what do we got next? What's next for you?
Well, if we want to talk about crazy stuff and movements and everything, and something that in some ways is over the top, it will not be cracking my top 10 this year, but it's great because all his movies are great. I'm going with Ari Aster's Eddington,
Hmm.
which I think is probably going to be within your top five when we do that episode.
Maybe it's right at the cusp of my top 10 right now. I'm not sure if it'll
Okay.
make it, but
Well,
yeah.
then I'm glad we picked it. So,
Yeah.
um, you know, uh, definitely the one of the themes of the year, manipulation via media and how fucking dumb people are, right?
Mhm.
And we are seeing this every day in our lives. So I like that he tackled that. Pedro Pascal, who everyone says is overexposed. This is his best work of the year
Yeah.
to me, like hands down. It was cool for him to be in a movie as opposed to the movie,
Mhm.
And Ari Aster does such a. This is probably the best movie about COVID that's been so far, right? This
Yeah.
kind of small town, and the owning the libs versus the MAGA people, and I mean, I guess if you're trying to own the libs, you are a MAGA person. The libtards versus the
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
the maggots or whatever, and Joaquin and Ari make magic together every time out. So Beau is Afraid was one of my favorite movies when that came out. This movie's really insane. There's a piece at the end where they do like an Antifa invasion that I felt like didn't even need that. Like that was like just one step maybe too far. But what I like about Ari Aster is like he's always going one step too far. And
Sure.
I'd rather have that. And sometimes it pay off, and sometimes maybe it pays off less than had you left it out. But yeah, this is awesome. This movie.
Yeah, and I think to bring it back to our trailers episodes, the thing that's so exciting about this movie is that we both, when we saw the trailer, we were like, "Oh God, a COVID 2020 movie? Like, do we really want that from Ari Aster?" And then look at the end of the year, we're both like, "This movie rules."
Well, I mean, and I know we'll talk about it in our top 10, but a lot of the best movies are thematically, and it's really exciting to me to see these filmmakers like kind of be prescient about what's going on today and at the time, the future, right? Like we're not
Hmm.
talking about one battle after another today, but literally he made a movie about ice before we knew what ice was,
Sure.
right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, like I want these filmmakers to attack these issues in artistic ways and really kind of go for it. And I also thought the ending of this movie, where, spoilers if you haven't seen it, you're pretty much waiting for Joaquin Phoenix to get his and die. He gets his, he doesn't die, but is he more tortured that way?
Right, right. Yeah, it's a great ending and a very Ari Aster ending as well. Um, I was going to save this one for later, but I think it goes well with Eddington, and that is Begonia, the Yorgos Lanthimos film from the year, is going to be my next pick, which was co-written by Will Tracy and is a remake of Save the Green Planet, which I have not seen, but I would like to see after having seen this one. Um, but it felt a little too like on the nose to be in my top 10, so I kind of kept it out of there, but I loved it absolutely. And it definitely, like I said, it fits kind of like a companion piece with Eddington as far as just how stupid everything has gotten in this world and this country and everything. Jesse Plemons has maybe never been better than he is here as this conspiracy nut job who is convinced without a doubt that this piece of shit CEO played by Emma Stone is a space alien and has this big conspiracy going on. And in a very Yorgos way, it really shines a light on just how far gone people are when they get into these echo chambers. And that's a big part of what's going on in the world right now. And the reason why we're at the place we are is because of people getting caught in these things and just really listening to the media and listening to the other people that are in their same echo chambers, and just they all just keep getting crazier and crazier.
Well,
But yeah.
I want to jump in there. It's not just that; it's this like acceptance of mediocrity, right? Like,
Sure.
and I'm going to use the current administration. Signalgate happens, no repercussions. Clearly, Pete Hegseth is not qualified for his job, right?
Mm.
Caroline Levitt once has asked a question, and her response was "Your mom." Like, what are we doing?
It's
Why Trump?
insane.
Trump can just name himself on this Kennedy Center, and we're all just like, yeah, yeah, why not? Like, fuck
He's so
off.
crazy. He's
Yeah,
just
like
so crazy.
it's not okay to be so mediocre. He's supposed to be this genius businessman, and he keeps putting people in. Like Cash Patel is the most unqualified person to possibly run the FBI, right? Like,
Hmm.
so the idea of, if we're just going to accept mediocrity, right? You can go down these stupid wormholes and anyone can say anything. And now that we don't have fact checking anymore on our social platforms because Trump knows it'll fuck him, like, it's all stupid. So I don't want to get off on a political rant, but I think that does play into the Jesse Plemons character. I think all three of the leads are great. Emma
They're all
Stone
great.
is the best working actress, I'd say, in Hollywood today.
Sure.
And the guy who plays the cousin,
Hmm.
who is I don't want to. He's not necessarily special needs. He's whatever neurodivergent, maybe,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
He does a great job, but it's so sad what we're going to get into spoilers on all these to get this plan ready. They say Jesse Plemons says she might try to seduce us, so we have to chemically castrate ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And the cousin who should not be in any position to make that decision for himself. It's like, well, I was hoping to be with a woman one day. And he's like, you got to get that out of your head. And they basically do that, right? And
Horrendous. Just
yeah.
horrible.
So, but I thought it was strange and funny and odd. And then you get to this part where he showcases this like worm. He goes, I didn't discover this. I stood on the shoulders of giants. And it's like other conspiracy theorists showing their work to get there. I am going to spoil the ending right now, right? Because I thought the ending was. What did you think of the ending?
It's a step too far, probably, but at the same time, it feels like something that Yorgos Lanthimos would do. And I'm curious too. Have you seen Save the Green Planet? I'm wondering how
No, I
close.
haven't seen it.
Yeah,
So
I'm wondering how close it is to what happens there. But yeah, it seems like something he would do though, to just kind of take us to like, oh yeah, it's like this, and here's just all this complete
right. So
insanity.
Emma Stone finally admits, like, yeah, you thought I was an alien. Guess what? You're right. I'm an alien. And this is what really happened. We came to this planet. We kind of messed it up. So we rebuilt humanity. And guess what? All you did was ruin everything. And now this is where we're at. And the only reason you're alive is because the 75th ruler or emperor is benevolent, right? And you get this whole thing, and uh, Plemons, explodes himself by accident, in where Emma Stone is like, yeah, you just go into that closet. That's your portal to the mothership,
It's
right?
such nonsense.
Yeah, which like that felt a little lazy to me. The explanation, like, well, what else could we do? We didn't really think this one out. Like that felt lazy. But then she leaves, and I thought the ending should have been like she leaves the ambulance, runs back into the office, and we see her in the closet, and we hear a sound, and then that it cuts to black. Like
Hmm.
let the audience kind of decipher what they want. Instead, we do see that she is the emperor, and she decides humanity shouldn't exist anymore. And that ending's kind of cool too, seeing everyone just die.
Yeah, yeah. It's wonderfully ridiculous, and I do think it just kind of goes like it's just putting a little extra hat on a hat of like the idea that all these conspiracy things are so stupid, but also it's like, but here it is, and like this is a real
Yeah,
example.
he's not a minimalist. He's not a subtle filmmaker, but
Right.
yeah, it's really good. This would probably be right outside of my top 10 also.
Yeah, same for me. Also, one of my favorite scores of the year by Jerskin Fendrix. But let's go to your next pick. What do you got?
All right. Well, since we're just riffing off each other at this point. I'm gonna, we're talking about Jesse Plemons. I thought, who was a real standout in Civil War last year. And
Hmm.
so I'm going to pick Alex Garland's Warfare from this year, which he co-directed with one of these soldiers who actually lived through this experience where, his team's on watch. I believe it's in Iraq, or is it Afghanistan? I don't recall, but
I think it was Afghanistan, wasn't it?
okay. All right. Well, whatever. They're on watch, and they're seeing if what's going on around the neighborhood, and if there are some bad guys, terrorists on the other side, and of course everything goes wrong, and
It's
you get to
It's
the
Iraq, by the way.
okay. That's so yeah,
Yeah.
I was right. You were wrong. Let's all
Yeah.
take a note of
Of
that yet
course.
again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what happens is it all goes wrong. People get shot. People get close to and murdered, and this group of soldiers is embedded and can't get out because there is no way a rescue team can come in, or they keep trying and keep failing. And it's the closest thing to Black Hawk Down since Black Hawk Down. And
Sure.
I just thought it was really good, really interesting, really harrowing, and I want more movies that are different than what we normally see. So I think Warfare was one of the better films of this past year.
Yeah, it's great, and it's one of those like technical movies where it's like the sound design, the editing, the score, like all those particular elements of the movie. They look so damn good. The cinematography, like all of that stuff, is so perfect. Would you agree? It's one of those movies though that you watch one time and you're like, I hope I never watch this movie again, even though it's really, really good.
You definitely so that's a good question because like I could watch Black Hawk Down now that I haven't seen it in 15 years,
It's
right?
a little bit more like Hollywood dramatic, whereas this, it's like you're just in it and it's like sickening,
The
you
one
know?
thing I'll say about this, and we often talk about like movies just like wearing you down because they just keep going and going. They were really smart to make this about 90 minutes long, right?
Sure.
Because you can't take anymore, like you're saying, of this. But yeah, I mean, I could probably watch it again, but it's not going to be, top of the list for the next month or so,
Yeah,
2 months, 3 months, whatever. So,
for sure.
but again, totally different than anything else that's come out this year. I think it treats it with more respect than a lot of these like true story military movies, which is just rah rah, fuck everyone else. America rules. Like we all
Yeah.
want America to be great for the right reasons, and we all support the troops, except when you steal from the troops to give them housing money, Trump.
Mhm.
But yeah, this was a really, really good, well-made film, and Alex Garland's on a roll, man, with this and Civil War, and he wrote 28 Years Later. Like he's crushing right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. He had said that he was going to take a break after Civil War, and then it was like, oh, but by the way, I also shot an entire other movie that's coming now. So I wonder what he's actually doing next. But whatever it is, I'm always excited for Alex Garland. So my next one is one that I know you haven't seen yet, and I'm really curious to hear what you think of it once you get around to it. And that is Good Fortune from Aziz Ansari, who had kind of had to go away for a while after Master of None. He had started shooting another movie, or maybe even finished shooting another movie, but it had to get shelved during Me Too and all that kind of stuff. But now he's back, and he has this movie starring himself and Keanu Reeves and Seth Rogen, and it's such a simple but silly premise about a guardian angel who he's a kind of crappy guardian angel. He is the guardian angel that's assigned to stopping people from texting and driving, which, in a very defeated manner, he explains to his boss and the angels that people really love doing it, and so it's really hard to stop them. And he finds himself in a situation where this guy who's just like a gig worker and he's sleeping in his car and he has nothing, played by Aziz Ansari, um, wants to kill himself. And Keanu Reeves is like, I feel like I could help this guy if I just show him that it's not so special being on the other side. You got to just be happy for what you have. And I'm going to make him switch places with his rich boss and show him that, oh, it's going to be basically everything's going to be fine. It's not a big deal. And once he gets there, he finds that, oh, actually everything is so much better and life is just perfect once he's rich. And then Aziz won't go back because Keanu has to get him to go back, or else he'll lose his place as being an angel and he'll be a human. And in human form, he's just totally fucked. He just cannot handle it. He's just doesn't know how to do anything. He ends up working as a fast food worker. He gets addicted to cigarettes. It's totally ridiculous, and it's just such a funny, silly, goofy little movie. Keanu Reeves is having so much fun in it, and it's just the whole time just a big smile on your face at just how ridiculous Keanu can be. Seth Rogen's really good too. Aziz is good. I know some people got really annoyed at this movie though because it's like the messaging is kind of lost in the end, and it doesn't really have that much to say about the situation. It just uses it as a setup for a bunch of jokes. But personally, it's a comedy. I do not mind a movie that does that. I don't think it has to solve the rich versus poor situation. It just needs to be funny. And this movie is hilarious and one of the most fun times I've had at the movies this year.
So you went through a lot. So let me try to break it down, right? Because I haven't seen it. I do want to see this movie. Aziz did go away. I don't think he had to go away. He was a real.
It,
We've talked about this before.
yeah,
Like that was when Me Too went too far. Oh, I was on a bad date, and now I'm going to report on it and just really embarrass this guy.
it was a weird one, that's for sure. It should not have been the way that it was.
So he comes back. He makes Master of None season 3, which nobody even remembers because he's barely in it, or if he's in it at all. Then he tries to make this movie with Bill Murray, and Bill Murray's whatever being Bill Murray, and they have to shut it down, which they would have never had to do back in the day. So he's really just kind of had a few missteps here, a few missteps here, and then he goes and makes this. And there's a huge misstep here. You basically, if this is a riff on It's a Wonderful Life in its own way,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why the fuck isn't this available on a streaming platform around Christmas time? Like, what are we doing? Like, this is
Yeah.
easy stuff. That's how you market it and be like, hey, you might have missed this, but here's the perfect Christmas movie for those of you who don't necessarily love Christmas. Like, just so stupid, man.
You're 100% right. They should have timed this better. That is a really good point.
So it's frustrating to me. I still want to see it. All the players that you mentioned are great, and it does sound really fun. So I'm looking forward to it. And just what are we doing?
What are we doing exactly? What do you got next?
Okay, I'll go to one that premiered on streaming that I think would have done pretty well, or at least decently theatrically. It's Noah Baumbach's Jay Kelly. This to me is not a top Baumbach movie, but a second tier Baumbach is still better than 90% of the movies that come out anyway,
Sure.
right? So
Yeah.
85, 80%, whatever. So here we have George Clooney as this. This is like almost Noah Baumbach's love letter to Richard Linklater movies in a way,
Mm.
right? So Noah Baumbach, Jay Kelly, aging George Clooney, he put his career before his kids all the time. One of his kids says, I'm not going to be here this summer. I'm going to Europe with my friends. So he finds excuses to go to Europe and like kind of be near her, which of course doesn't work. And now he's in Europe and he has to figure out like, what he's done with his life, where his life is going. He has a whole team around him. We've seen a lot of Laura Dern in movies this year. We have Adam Sandler. To me, this whole idea of Adam Sandler, like I know there was going to be a big Oscar push for this, just ridiculous. Like he's good in this film, but this is not an Oscar role. Like
Mm.
we got to just stop forcing things like that. They blew it. He should have had the Oscar nod for Uncut Gems. I think we all agree on that.
Oh
And
yeah.
like this was not that. So Jay Kelly, he's on a train, he's walking around towns with Adam Sandler. There's a few things I don't love about it, decisions that characters make. There's a lot of flashbacks. There's a lot of like, hey, dad, you treated me badly, and I have to tell you why in this specific way. But overall, it's still George Clooney getting to do, his riff on Cary Grant, and you're having real conversations in a before style situation, around Europe where these people have to figure out their lives. It's almost like what his first movie was, Kicking and Screaming, where these kids are graduating college. And now we're doing this with a 60-year-old movie star and his agent and and his team.
Was because George Clooney really hasn't had a good movie in quite a while now. Was it like a good one for him, like as George Clooney, the movie star?
He's great in it. I mean, I think Ticket to Paradise was a big hit. That was probably his last one, right? So,
Yeah, I think that did all
but
right.
yeah, I don't know. This is in a way, it's like, hey, these are movies that would have been theatrical, big box office films 25 years ago, and now where do they fit? And nobody knows. So, but I like this movie a good amount, and I really do like Clooney, Dern, Sandler, all good in it.
Yeah, great cast, and definitely something that I'm hoping to
And
catch up
beautiful
on.
looking, and like I said, a love letter to movies and to Linkletter, I think. So
And I loved White Noise. I know that wasn't like your favorite Baumbach, although, like you said, any Baumbach is better than most stuff. But I love that movie. So I know this is a very different tone, but still, like I loved his last
I was
thing.
actually
So
thinking about this recently, right? Like he's at his best when he's telling small stories about everyday people, right? And
mm,
I think that's why White Noise, which is an adaptation, it's about everyday people, but it's a huge event surrounding it.
sure.
And this is not about everyday people, right? It's about people who are bigger than quote unquote ordinary people trying to get back to what real life is.
Mm. Well, speaking of everyday people during big events, I'm going to go with Ice Cube's War of the Worlds adaptation for my next pick here, which let's be very clear up front that most people have called this like the worst movie of the year, and they're 100% right. It is terrible, but it is so funny. I was laughing through this whole movie just nonstop. It's a punching bag, and it deserves to be. This is, I'm not going to say it's as great as The Room, but it is in that vein of like a movie you could watch with friends and just crack up laughing. Every line is just so poorly delivered, poorly written. Everything is done very, very badly. It's all shot in this the screen life thing, like Searching or any of those kinds of movies, but it's done in a way where Ice Cube clearly isn't a computer guy. And so he has no idea what he's doing. He's kind of has to speak to himself as he's doing each thing. It's the whole relationships that are like kind of being built through the phone calls and the video calls with his son and all this stuff are all totally nonsensical. It's clear that no one knew what they were shooting as they were making this thing. And then I know you've probably heard about this, but like all of the Amazon product placement is so on the nose and ridiculous. This is a spoiler, but like there's a whole sequence towards the end where they need a USB thumb drive in order to save the world, and the only way to get it is from an Amazon drone delivery.
That's not
And
a spoiler.
it's so amazing, so amazing. And then, so I'm going to spoil the whole sequence just because it's so damn good, and I know nobody's going to watch this movie. So, the drone gets knocked out of the sky, and they're like, "Oh no, how are we going to get this drone to us if it's knocked out of the sky? It's on its back, and so it can't get back up and start flying again." And so they see through all of their Amazon cameras that there's this homeless guy sitting on the corner, and they're like saying to the homeless guy, "Could you please just put this drone back on its straightforward up so that way it can fly again?" And he's just ignoring them. He doesn't really give a shit. He doesn't want to get involved. And they say, "Send him $100 Amazon gift card to his account." And they do that. And he's like, "Okay, I'll do it."
This is gross. This whole thing sounds gross. Jeff Bezos, you're gross. Get out of here with this.
So bad. Oh, I love this so much. Jason, watch it one of these days.
I'm not going to watch it. It sounds infuriating. But I will go to one that I know we both liked,
Mm-hmm.
and probably again right outside my top 10. Didn't get a chance to see it in the theater, but it did come out on Netflix in time for me to watch it before the end of the year, unlike Good Fortune. That's going to be Caught Stealing, a
Oh,
very,
sure.
I would say, Darren Aronofsky's New York riff on a Guy Ritchie movie from the Lock, Stock, and Barrel, Two Smoking Barrel age of Guy Ritchie films. This kind of crime caper, and Austin Butler ends up with this bag, and he doesn't. He's watching it for his friend, or he's watching his friend's cat, and he
Yeah,
doesn't know why he's being attacked, and it's because there's a lot of hidden goods in this cat's litter box, and there's this whole there's just this like crazy sequence. The whole thing's crazy, is what it is. It's like one
sure.
of these caper movies. You got Hasidim, you got Dirty Cops, you got was it? It was the love interest is Zoe Kravitz, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they have great chemistry, her and Austin Butler, and it's a real kind of fun, crazy look at a New York madcap caper done through the eyes of Darren Aronofsky.
absolutely. It's a great time. It's a great cat movie It's a great Jew movie. It's very over the top, very ridiculous, and totally not an Aronofsky movie in any way. But he's allowed to, try something different.
He did
So
well with it too. So he
yeah,
did a good, and like we mentioned, you have that kind of feel of Guy Ritchie who's stolen from Scorsese, and this has a direct steal from Goodfellas, where
sure,
he has to go to the Shabbos dinner and eat matzo ball soup with the.
yeah,
Always lovely to see Carol Kane in there,
yeah.
So
It also felt
um,
very After Hours as well. So
yeah, it's
yeah,
got a good soundtrack again,
yeah,
and it looks good, and it's a tight piece. You're not looking for this one to trim the fat as with some other ones that we've talked about. So, Caught Stealing, one of the better films of the year, and it'll be interesting to see what Aronofsky does now that he's kind of done something like this.
absolutely. My last one is a very difficult movie to recommend, but it was something. That's what I will say about it. It is Harmony Korine's Baby Invasion, the latest movie from his Edgelord multimedia company. This is it's barely a movie, honestly. It's kind of like a Twitch stream of a first person shooter that he invented for the movie. So like he built a video game and it's a playthrough of the video game, but then they take the footage of the video game, which features real people, and using AI, they replace the faces of all the real people with babies. And the video game is basically a home invasion thriller. So they're going into people's mansions and smacking them with guns and stealing their money, and there's sex and it's complete insanity, and it's exactly what you would expect out of Harmony Korine. It's way too long. It probably should have been like 30 minutes at most, but it's a full length movie, and like I said, it's a tough recommend, but it's one of those movies that as you're watching it, you're like, I have never seen any of this in a movie before, and now I have, and I'm kind of glad I have. And thank you, Harmony Korine, for continuing to make these weird experiments. I really loved his last couple of movies that are also very strange and out there, but this one kind of tips the scales. But like I said, worth watching though.
That sounds. Did you watch Grand Theft Hamlet this year?
I wanted to. I haven't gotten a chance. It does sound similar to that though.
Yeah, I did watch Grand Theft Hamlet, which is not that. It's again, these people are playing Grand Theft Auto, and they're like, "Hey, can we do a production of Hamlet within this kind of world?" And it's a documentary of that. So it sounds like it would be a good companion piece. That whole one didn't necessarily work for me the whole way, but it was interesting. It was something different to see. So yeah, that's very strange. This sounds very strange. I would watch this much faster than would watch War of the Worlds.
I think that's fair. Bad versus just fucking weird. But yeah, anything else you want to shout out before we wrap this up?
I want to shout out that art is, like we talked about, usually in a good place when the world isn't. So
Yeah,
we should
sure.
be getting, and also, with like all of these kind of monopolizations of, however movies are distributed now, I think we're going to get more interesting pieces from auteurs. We're going to get more interesting pieces from Europe because Hollywood is, cannibalized itself. So,
Hmm.
it's the world and the industry is in a strange place, and that's usually a good time for art.
I hope you're right. Jason, is there another movie you watched recently you'd like to recommend to our listeners?
Okay, Dave, I will give you one that, as I've been going through my year end stuff, one that you hated, I think. Did you even
Ooh.
finish it, The Secret Agent?
Uh, okay, I didn't hate it. I just could not get into it. I was just not getting into that movie.
And I think it's fair to say that I am interested because I think there's some interesting. I mean, Brazil has a great film culture, and last year's "I'm Still Here" was a really
That was
memorable
good.
film,
Yeah.
and this one is a really unique time period film, just like that one. So I can see how if you're not in this thing within the first 15 minutes, it's not going to work for you. And again, it's 2.5 hours. Doesn't need to be that long, no. But I think that dude is amazing. The lead actor is incredible in it,
He
and
seemed like he was really good. Like I liked watching him. I'd like to watch him in a movie that I kind of cared
yeah.
about, you know?
So,
Yeah.
so I would say it's worth watching. There are some other foreign films that I didn't mention because they're going to be on my top 10.
All right. Very good. Well, Jason, where can people find you, Awesome Movie Year, everything else you're up to?
Jason Harris Comedy, Jay Harris Comedy, all the things. Awesome movie year, finishing 1971, going into 1985. Go for Jason on Letterboxd. Come to a trivia night.
All right. Jason, as always, great having you here.
Dave, I want people to hit me up on the socials and let me know what their underrated or overlooked movies were of this past year.
Absolutely. Do that. Also, check us out in the Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces Facebook group. We will have a thread of that going on there, and we'll be talking our top 10 very soon as well.
Happy Jew Year, Dave.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about a bunch of movies from 2025 that we never got a chance to spotlight, but we're happy to do it. And we'll see, maybe this will be an annual thing where we will shine a light on some more movies that I didn't get a chance to do episodes on or that didn't make our top 10, all that kind of stuff. So let us know if you enjoyed that and if you want us to continue doing it every year. So that's it for today. Thank you to Jason Harris for joining me. Thank you to all of you for listening. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you're subscribed. You could also follow us on social media at PiecingPod and join the Facebook group Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. And with that said, it's time to close this out with a piece of music, like I always do. And I guess we're looking back at 2025. I should play a track from the album I put out in 2025 called Missing Pieces. And let's see, which song from that should I play? I'm going to go with a track called, I'll just play any old track from this great album that you should go stream on Spotify and Apple Music and all those places. I'm going to play a track called Stuck in Reverse. Hope you enjoy it, and we will be back with more Piecing It Together real soon.
An All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.